talkSPORT Clips of the Week.
Well, kind of, because as we've been telling you over the past few weeks, and we kind of did this sort of tail end of lockdown a bit, didn't we? Some old mini discs.
We need a voice across that bit going, classic, or something
That's
like
it,
that.
something like that, gold.
Can you amend that by next week, John?
Classic clips of the mid-week. Yeah. So we found these old mini discs in the office and they've been digitised, and here they are. We've not heard these clips since 2007. They're not best of, they're just random selection of clips from 2007.
A flavour
of what went out that day. Some will be better than others, I guess. The producers had a listen to them. He stakes his reputation on them, which is good of him. So let's see what they're like, Andy. And he's written us new intros. We begin with Mike Parry and Andy Townsend, and a competition question.
What nationality was last year's Bupa Great North Run men's race winner? We offered you A, South African, or B, Kenyan.
Yes.
And, of course, the answer, Andy, was...
I haven't got a clue.
South Africa.
Was it South Africa?
Hendrik Ramala won in 1 minute, 1.03 seconds.
The Great North Run. It does go back to Mike saying all those years ago a man would run 100 metres in a second.
What's Bupa?
Good old Mike, eh?
Here's our much-loved and sadly missed former cricket correspondent, Jack Bannister, with news of a wicket.
Suddenly, Peterson saw it was Ganguly and thought, let's try and jostle him up a bit and take the mickey, and turned and sprinted for another run with Shah. As soon as he saw the sprint, said, no, no, no.
There we are, of course. Back in 2007, that did remind us of something.
They tried to make me go to rehab. I said,
no, no, no.
That's right. Yes, Andy.
It's Graham Beecroft now with a question for Spanish expert Paul Breen-Turner about Chelsea's Champions League opponents, Valencia.
It's strange that, because you look at them, Paul, and they've got, 12, is it, or 13 internationals in their squad.
12 or 13 internationals in their squad? I don't quite...
What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with the clip? Oh, you got to read the next one. Oh, it's a two-parter.
Oh, sorry.
Two-parters. Yeah, good knowledge, Beaky. Well, I don't know. I'm just doing these cold.
No.
Nice one, says the producer here. Let's see what question Alan followed up with.
But a good squad this time, Paul. I think they've got 13 full Spanish internationals, haven't they?
Or 12. Yeah, 12 or 13, I believe, Al.
It's marvellous, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this is Mike Parry reading out a text about the performance of England's Emil Heskey.
Right, Emil had it says a blender here, but it means a blinder.
He might have a blender. He was on with us, next time he's on, we'll ask him, has he got a blender?
Doesn't make me a smoothie.
It would be good, wouldn't it? Here's long-serving breakfast co-host Ronnie Irani, who, of course, was on Drive the other night, wasn't he, with Goffey and Adrian. Right at the beginning of his stint alongside Alan with a famous sporting quote.
Bill Shankly once said, some people in football, it's a matter of life and death. I can assure you, much it is more important than that.
Sorry? I don't think that's what Bill said.
That was Yoda, wasn't it? Not Bill Shankly.
It was. Mr. Brazil again, this time talking racing with Derek Tomo Thompson, and some surprising news about an old talkSPORT colleague.
He was the best I've ever trained. We think he'd have won the Arc and the Classic.
I think he's probably right. Of course, sadly, we'll never know. And my good friend Ian Wright has been flown over there by private jet, Sheikh Mohammed's private jet, to do the surgery on him.
That quite righty, didn't he? He does equine surgery.
He was in non-league surgery, and then he became...
Next time he's on Match of the Day, Gary's got to ask him about equine surgery. Back to Graham Beecroft reading out a text alongside Big Al.
One more. This is from Al Stewart, who's in Essex.
Oh, the year of the cat.
The Moose's new name.
You mean Al, and it's Stewart.
Oh, it's Al Stewart. Is it? I don't know. From Stewart in Essex. Anyway, whatever. Al knows.
No, Al to me, and it's Stewart in Essex.
All right, okay. Oh, I see what you mean. Al, full stop.
For goodness sake.
Chance to have a sing-song, though, eh?
Nice track, though. I like that track.
Yes.
Alvin Martin now. A little known fact about Alvin. Back in 2007, he actually built a time machine.
Wow.
I think the surprising thing was the timing of this, and I was chatting to somebody at Liverpool tomorrow.
It's brilliant, Alvin. Back to the future. Marvellous. Here's Mr. Parry again.
Arriva Verde Roma. Now then, earlier in the show, we gave you your first clue to an ancient city for a chance to win a trip for two to Rome. Hence me singing Arrivederci Roma, okay?
Isn't that goodbye, Rome?
Well,
really?
it's hello and goodbye, actually. Arrivederci means hello, goodbye. You know what I mean?
Does it?
Yeah,
I thought
it does.
It meant goodbye.
No. It means hello and goodbye to the ancient city.
No, he doesn't.
Just blagging it. Just blagging it like he usually does. And needless to say, Andy Townsend didn't let that one lie.
YouTube, Mr. Parry. Arrivederci means only goodbye. Ciao means both hello and goodbye, says Tony. See, I don't know anything about Italian.
Not colloquially.
Tony on the M25.
You get yourself down on the Spanish Steps there in Rome.
He's great. He's great, isn't he? And so, Andy, finally.
And finally, it's Keith Arthur on Fisherman's Blues with an interesting story for a listener.
I don't think they've been washed over the weir, for example, and they're hardly likely to swim downstream through the lock cut, because once they get into those big, secure lock cuts, and there are a few quite long lock cuts as you come down the river, because the lower Thames wasn't flooded. Although there was flood watch, it didn't actually flood. The water levels didn't get as high as they did in 2003. Right. So once you get to the section like the lock cut at Teddington, which is a particularly long, particularly wide, and relatively deep lock cut, there's plenty of sanctuary there for the fish, and I couldn't imagine them wanting to travel through the lock to get out of that bit of comfort. Anyway.
Right, okay then, Keith. Well, thanks for that.
Slightly fizzled out. Didn't seem massively interested, did he? By the end of it.
A fan of lock cuts.
Yeah, that's well done, Andy. I wasn't going to say it. I'm glad you did. I think we're in the madhouse there. So there we are. We'll find some old classic clips if we can.
And we'll read the script before we actually do it.
Yes, we will, because the producers put a lot of work into us reading it properly, not wondering why something was funny.
What's this clip?
Why is that funny? Please tell us.
That was very poor.